hearts as Geoff Johns leaves Green Lantern far, far behind. Welcome! We're going to be chatting about Green Lantern in general, I think, today. Basically everything up until... oh, Christ, what the hell? Just everything until issue 20. Things spanning out of it, things beforehand, previous issues, favorite Green Lanterns, least favorite Green Lanterns. But as I mentioned on the blog, we're going to do a review, probably a little bit more in-depth than my blog post was, about Green Lantern issue 20. Jeff, you haven't been reading Green Lantern, so what do you think of this issue? Give us your take on it, since you haven't been reading the last 2 years of Green Lantern.
Well, it looks pretty at the beginning, but then it seems like the art suffers a little bit towards the end. It's not as detailed.
Well, Mankey's got a weird gap in there. It's like 5 pages where he's not doing the art.
Yeah.
And
I've noticed that. Some pages don't
why.
really match at all.
I'm not quite sure why.
But it looks good. I mean, I can't wait to read it if DC ever gets their trade program in line.
I mean, their trade program's amazing. You love waiting 18 months for 6 issues in collected
Yes,
form.
I do.
It's amazing.
And that's how long it seems it's taking with the new 52 books.
That's basically a trade as it is, with the binding in 60-odd count pages.
It's true. It's like a 1990s prestige format book.
Yeah. Which I like it. I like the binding on it. I'm glad they didn't try and shove staples through the bloody thing.
Yes, they get pretty messy sometimes. Yeah. And then the spines warp once in a while, too. Yeah. Or the staples get off kilter, or whatever.
Fall out completely, and you end up with lost pages, which has happened a few times in some books that I've
But I'm liking this Rainbow Man, whatever his name is.
That would be Volthoom. People feel free to comment if I'm butchering that name. He was a pre-52 character, apparently. A couple of one-offs here and there he's been in. I'm not really familiar with the character, even though he's been in, 8, 9, 10 issues of Green Lantern family books. Everything. It's been going through GL Core, New Guardians, Red Lanterns. That's all of them?
Close enough.
Yeah, Orange Lantern hasn't started yet. Threshold wasn't part of it, so yeah. I've actually read 12 issues, The Wrath of the First Lantern, but he's been in some previous issues. I think I've read most of the things containing the Red Lantern, the First Lantern. Gets a little confusing jumping through books and across weeks of releases and everything. Gets a little confusing towards the middle of the story with what Volthoom's doing with some reality warping. But it gets confusing there, but it's actually kind of cool, because you see some alternate versions, like what-if scenarios. Like, what if the ring didn't go to Hal? What if Guy Gardner didn't give up his awesome warrior powers? What if the Red Lantern's name, who I always butcher whenever I say it, Atrocitus? Right, because it's an atrocity, so that's how you pronounce it. Okay, yes. Good. What happens if his sector wasn't slaughtered by the Manhunters? So, I mean, that's some good stories in there, but it got a little bogged down in the middle, and I think 12 issues.
Well,
a little long.
The thing too is for crossovers, multiple books with multiple writers and artists is never good. Yeah. Look at Blackest Night. No, not Blackest Night. Forget that one. What was that Yellow Lantern?
Sinestro Corps War?
Sinestro Corps War. Basically, Geoff Johns all the way, every book.
Yeah.
Solid read. Everything flowed. But then when you get into such as this crossover...
Or anything Marvel does.
Yeah, true. It just doesn't have a single voice, like one theme or whatever going through.
They have to service the theme and the tone of the book they're in, plus the overarching story.
And it doesn't always work. Yeah. It just doesn't feel right.
I still have a hard time believing any of the Red Lanterns would ever chip in and help out the Blues. I'm not buying it. I don't care.
No.
It just doesn't thematically fit with the concept.
And by the way, even though it was mentioned that I do not read Green Lantern right now, I did read up until just the end of the pre-New 52. I have not started on the new 52.
Is it old 52 or is it pre-52?
I don't know. Let's call it the real DC universe And the
Earth,
New 52,
when is it coming back? No.
Yes, that is very accurate. When is it coming back?
It's never going to come back simply because of the dollars.
It might come back because New 52 is failing, but that is a whole nother
I don't think it's
conversation.
Failing.
It is failing.
It's failing badly where it's failing, but it's succeeding well where it's succeeding. They need far more consistency when it comes to some of the lower end books, and stop canceling good books. Anyway,
that sucks.
I'm fine if they want to have the old 52 come back. Do it as another Earth. That would have been the easiest way.
No, they should have made this the other Earth and put this all in one book.
They jumped in with both feet, and I kind of admire them for that. They stumbled, and I'm not saying they've drowned, but their water wings are going a little empty on some of their books, let's say, put it that way. But anyway, back to the Jim Lee drawing. Like you said, Jim Lee's trying to get a sketch in there.
This Jim Lee drawing, for a Jim Lee drawing, not that great. I love Jim Lee. He's been one of my favorites for decades now.
I think he probably draws for me my favorite Superman. Not necessarily my favorite Batman, because I felt his Batman was a little too bulked. I love his Batman, but his Superman is one of my favorites because Superman's supposed to be.
He draws my favorite Wildcats. Hello. That's a whole nother topic right there.
I guess we don't understand what podcast I'm not going to be involved in.
And it will be the greatest podcast ever. Hello, Wildstorm. Pre-New 52. Fantastic. New 52,
how long?
Failure on all levels.
How long until they actually get a Wildcats book, do you think?
As soon as he's done his Superman run.
You think?
Yep, it's on the books.
Well, he bailed on Justice League, which we knew was happening.
I don't think he bailed. He did what he was going to do, and that was that.
For the top tier books like that, you gotta put your big guns on it and leave them. I mean... Yeah. Marvel's had that issue where they either have teams of artists and writers that pair up for a long time, or they say they are and then they bail. Like Uncanny X-Men. I mean, Bendis writing the X-Men has been awesome. And Pacheco art is like locks it in for buying for me, because I love him doing the X-Men. Every issue that he draws with the X-Men is fantastic. He did like 5 issues.
Yes.
I haven't read the newest issue of... Actually, we should probably put a date on this episode. It is May 25th. So up here anyway, we had a long weekend for our books didn't come out until the Thursday just passed. So the Uncanny X-Men that came out on the 22nd, 23rd, depending on where you live, is supposed to be amazing, but not Pacheco's art, and I love his art. Yes. But DC hasn't left their teams together on enough books. Jones and Mankey have been together for a while in the book, and it shows. They're great. Even though one of my complaints about this issue was there's so much narrative going on, there's a lot of speech bubbles all over the place.
There's a lot of speech bubbles.
Even just skimming it, you can see.
A lot of panels, but it's detailed, which is good, so it doesn't feel too...
If it were any other artist, the book
would have been terrible.
Yeah, because you'd be like, I want to see the art. What is happening here?
But he had a lot of story to tell, so
he did.
This would have been 2 or 3 books if it was not as compressed as it was.
It did feel like the book it's kind of weird. It felt rushed yet big at the same time, and I think the story itself was rushed, but the content makes it seem bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, it feels like Geoff Johns was taking little tiny bits from each of his other big arcs. Like there's a little Sinestro Corps war, there's a little War of Light in there, there's a little Blackest Night in there, and it's kind of like a victory lap. It's a victory lap issue, but the setups for some of the futures of the Lantern Corps and characters is kind of neat. I hope they kind of have that in the minds of the writers coming in, so there's nothing super contradictory to anything that Geoff Johns sets up. I mean, there's always possible futures, blah, blah, blah,
This is the one thing that bothers me in this book is, spoiler, Hal Jordan kills himself to get a black ring. So, after he kills himself, what if the black ring just chose not to choose him? What happens then?
Because there's nothing saying
I guess he's dead.
Yeah, there's never been a
pretty poor thinking on your part there, Hal.
There's never been a straight-laced answer about who gets a black ring. It's just you have to be dead. That's like the key condition. Yeah. But I believe the dead zone that Hal was in there's like a million other people there that are dead. Now, I think those people are dead. Hal Jordan was still alive-ish, so that's why he was able to jump and kill himself, and Black Hand's ring went to him. So I don't know if it was like he was the freshest dead since Black Hand died, but I don't know. I like Black Hand, and I want some. I don't know if there was any mention in the previous GL issue or this one of how he might come back, but Black Hand, the development they put into that character, Geoff Johns again, the development they put into him, I think is worth making sure he's around later on for the concept of him, like his mortuary family and all the crap he pulled on them.
But now we have, 5 new teams of writers on all these books.
Yeah, there are 5 Green Lantern books. There's Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern New Guardians,
Red Lanterns,
and Orange Lanterns, or Larfleeze, whatever the book is called.
Whatever it's called. Larfleeze, I think.
So there are 5 books in the Green Lantern. We're getting into Batman territory here.
Yeah.
If Dexter gets his own book, I think we're going. I love Dexter anyway, but if we get that far, I think we're infringing on the Batman territory.
True. And I can't wait to read this entire storyline. I just got to wait another 2 years to do so. So.
Now,
not good.
The Green Lanterns are only coming out in soft cover, so at least they don't have to wait for the
They are coming out in hardcovers. It lists it right back here. So if you want to buy it in hardcover, Volume 2 is available now. Volume 3, not so much. You're going to wait a while, as well as Volume 4. So
with that crap, it's no surprise that people choose to get their comics through other venues. People have limited budgets. People buy the books they want, but if they want to read them, people buy them in trades. That's how it used to be.
Yeah.
But if you're putting out 6 issues every year in a trade collection, no.
Well, what I've been doing is I'll buy all the trades in a shot then. For instance, I just bought a Green Arrow run. Didn't buy them one at a time, bought them all at once. It was just easier that way. I get the whole run at once. I don't have to look up for single issues and stuff I couldn't afford beforehand, even though I can afford the trades now. But I also save up for certain things like that. So
I think I am looking forward to if they do some type of Geoff Johns omnibus like they did with his Flash run. I could see myself getting a few volumes of them. It'd be a nice display piece. I still don't have the Absolute Edition of Sinestro Corps War. I would like to get that. I could see, because he's their head honcho, I mean, I think every story arc he's done is going to get an Absolute. Like, there'll be a Blackest Night Absolute.
I would say Blackest Night had like 10 hardcovers to that, so
I think it would just be like the main Blackest Night title, maybe some toss-in artwork here and there for the Absolute, because the main book was 8 issues?
Yeah, 8 issues.
That's about Absolute terror. I mean, they're great when they go to 12, but
yes.
They could do a couple Absolutes for Geoff Johns' new 52 run. Call it there. Do 10 issues per. Do a couple Absolutes. Geoff Johns and the new 52 Green Lantern.
Yeah, maybe.
Or just omnibus them.
Yeah, that's true.
How many Flash volume omnibus are there?
I think there's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
2 guaranteed, but I think there might be.
Isn't one drastically bigger than the other?
I don't recall.
I think I saw a photo of someone's collection online. It was like, Flash Volume 1 is like 1.5 inches thick. Volume 2 is like 3 feet thick. It's something ridiculous like that.
Yes.
Probably an exaggeration, but anyway.
My biggest pet peeve about this issue, when you're just flipping through, it has these wonderful self-congratulatory pages.
They're not
self-congratulatory.
Well, they're industry congratulatories.
Seeing as he is basically one of the publishers of DC Comics now,
he made the decision where
he
to put
them.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, give me a comment that's nice, and I'll put it on the page congratulating myself.
I like the format of it. I like how they're all
different colors
and the art from the characters and that. That's cool. I don't like how you flip a page and boom, there's a review of Geoff Johns from Neil Gaiman or something. Put him at the end.
Yeah, you're fantastic. Thanks for writing Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the king of the universe.
Those would have been serviced nicely between the end of the story and where it goes into the future bits.
I like the guy. He's one of my favorite writers of all time. I loved his JSA run and his Justice Society run. pretty much anything he touches is golden. His Avengers run was good.
He is easily, unarguably, probably the best Green Lantern author.
Yes.
He
in the last quite a while.
Yeah. And I don't think we're going to see someone with such...
But there's a lot of naysayers who think Ron Mars was the best Green Lantern writer of the last couple decades.
I think with everything that Geoff Johns did with the character, everything that the new concepts, like him or hate him, the things that he added, the twists on the mythology, the taking little tiny nuggets of ideas from previous decades and expanding and making them fit. Like, why the hell was Abin Sur flying a spaceship? That was explained.
Yeah.
You don't really think about it until someone takes the time to question it. So things like that, I think, make him tops when it comes to Green Lantern writers.
True, but there is one Green Lantern question he has never, ever answered.
Go.
Why is Guy Gardner so lame? Why is he...
It might be the haircut.
It could
might be the jacket. Actually, I kind of like the jacket.
The jacket is terrible.
The jacket is awesome.
Straight from the 80s. Come on.
Would you prefer Warrior Green Lantern? Warrior Guy Gardner?
No. Anything Guy Gardner is terrible.
Isn't the story... I don't
Sorry,
know
Justice League International fans. He is terrible.
One Punch!
Sorry, friggin'... He's just terrible.
Yeah.
He is terrible.
He's not my favorite character. He's better now than he used to be. But isn't it... I'm not sure if this is pre-52 or new 52... where there was some twist or something where Guy was actually supposed to get the ring instead of Hal, but he wasn't, like, around, or he wasn't close enough or something. It was like a proximity thing. The ring found Hal first, but it should have been Guy. There was some BS thing like that.
Yeah, I think that was original universe. Yeah.
Which, thankfully, because, I mean, it kind of cheapens Hal a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the concept of 2 lanterns per sector came from Geoff.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Except, Earth has what? 5 lanterns or something?
We're...
way too many.
Shit, we're wrestling at 5. Well, they kind of like... Gardner and Stewart were honor guards, so they basically...
Honor guards, schmonor guards.
They were
lanterns.
They work on Oa. So they got promoted up to working on Oa. So the sector partner, it was John Stewart and Hal Jordan were Earth Lanterns. Rayner and Gardner were honor guard. So that's why they were kind of... I'm pretty sure that's how it was. That's why they were kind of not on Earth. They were around Earth sector. So Stewart and Jordan were Earth Lanterns. If I'm wrong, someone can comment and call me an idiot. So then Simon Baz, the new guy, got the ring because of the whole...
Simon Baz.
Who thankfully doesn't have a giant part in this issue, which I want to know what's happening with him.
Who cares what's happening with him?
Is he going to get his own book? Because he was in there to kind of fill in the gap between Jordan and Sinestro vanishing from the book at the 0 issue for Green Lantern, whatever the hell those were.
Although I do like Simon Baz better than Guy Gardner. I'm sorry, Guy Gardner.
Baz could be a cool character, like some of the things that are going on about like his potential for the ring, like healing people with it. That's kind of cool.
Guy Gardner is the Luke Cage of the DC universe.
He's not nearly in enough books to be the Luke Cage of the
That is
DC
true.
universe.
That is true for
Not
one
even
fact,
close.
but he's just as terrible.
I'm not a super fan of Simon Baz with the gun. I understand the thinking behind giving Simon Baz a gun. It makes logical sense for the character to feel that way. But it's like, okay, I don't really care that he has a gun. And I know people were like kind of questioning, why is he a bad guy? What is this weird language tattoo he has written on his arm? Like, it doesn't matter. Just shut up about it. The one of the bits again in the issue was Simon Baz apparently at some point in time trains the first female Earth ring bearer, which I'm kind of cool with because we've never seen that before. So how does she get a ring? It says something about after the Justice League's death, which I don't think means someone in the Justice League dies. I think it means they break up again or whatever. So maybe there'll be some way she gets a ring out of that mess. Maybe it'll be out of Trinity War or something. But I don't know what's going to happen with Baz. Is he going to be the sector partner for Hal now? It kind of looks like Hal is going to spend some time on Oa, kind of helping out the new Templar Guardians and helping rework the core for a little bit.
True. With spoiler, all the Guardians dead. Doesn't they need somebody there?
Which, the Guardians, I'm glad they didn't pull some. They were being influenced by some force, or it was like Scar again. There was one bad one that was convincing them all through some psychic bullshit. I'm glad that everything they had done was just irredeemable, and it would have felt cheap if they had kept them around to still run the Lanterns, because the shit they've pulled, no. They deserve the comeuppance.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Guardians go, they were cool villains. As far as characters go, they were kind of mustache
Guardians are awesome. Although, this book leaves it open for one Guardian to have survived.
Yes. The only Guardian that anyone actually gives a shit about.
That is
actually,
true.
the only two Guardians that anyone actually gives a shit about, because they're the only ones that are commonly referred to by name.
True, but most people can't even name the second Guardian. They only know the one Guardian.
That's true.
Yes.
That is true.
Yes.
As you said, the book is a damn pretty read. I mean, the visuals are fantastic. Mankey is a great artist. I don't know what he's up to now. Have you read anything about what book he's on?
I don't know where he's moving on to, actually.
He's not exclusive to DC, is he?
I think he is.
Yeah.
So we'll see him on something else.
I would
Which is a shame. I'd love him to jump to Marvel.
I would want to see him on Justice League. I can't remember who the artist is. They've had the last few issues of Justice League. I just read the Death
It was Ivan Reis, wasn't it?
No, he left. He was out during the Aquaman, the one of Atlantis thing. But they had Despero show up, and the artist on there is not bad, but a title like that, if you got Geoff Johns writing it, give us a top tier artist. There should not be a cover artist or a fill-in artist on a Justice League title. I mean, I don't know how long Finch is gonna kick around on JLA. Probably not too long, historically speaking. He was the reason I bought that Batman book at the beginning of the New 52.
Yes.
Which I wasn't paying $4 for an art book. It was not a good read at all. But you look at him on JLA, and it's great.
Yeah.
When he leaves, I don't know who they're going to have, but there are certain titles where you need your top creators on. And you give the other lower books, other writers and artists to kind of build and develop and prove themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So one Bat book should have a top tier guy. One Superman book should have a top tier guy. Superman books have no top tier guys anymore.
Kenneth Rocafort is alright. I don't mind his art.
The Superman issue recently with Orion was actually really cool. It was a fun little knockdown fight issue, and the art was good on it. I'm looking forward to Jim Lee and Snyder's Superman. I could see that taking over as the top Superman title, just because of the guys behind it.
Yes.
Again, however long Jim Lee is on that book before he goes to do well.
6 issues.
6 issues, you're calling it? Alright.
6 issues.
Such in June, right? So sometime in June before the movie comes out.
Yeah. And for all those listening, Garry is the DC guy here, and I'm the Marvel guy. I only read 2 DC books. Garry reads a plethora.
My DC books are actually I get more Marvel books than DC books, honestly.
Do you now?
By far. My pull list is, on both sides of the fence, are huge Marvel, because there's so many Marvel books. I mean, I don't even know how many books Marvel actually puts out in a month.
Lots.
Yeah.
Lots of books.
And
lots are bi-weekly as well.
Yeah. The app I use on my phone, it's DC, 30 books this week. Marvel, like 57.
Yeah.
Like, that's more books than DC has.
Currently, I only read Aquaman on a monthly basis, and I read All-Star Western in trade form.
Wow, that is a limited amount.
It's because that's all that's worth buying. That's
Aquaman is pretty badass. I mean,
yes,
it is a damn good book.
Now, I understand other people may like other titles, but for me personally, since New 52 started, everything has dropped so dramatically in quality, and the fact that the original universe no longer counts or is canon is
I think that the confusion
terrible.
over if it is or isn't what isn't is one of the big fan ire parts. I mean, clearly by reading this issue of Green Lantern, number 20, pretty much everything that Green Lantern has gone through in his history is canon.
But that was established at the very beginning of New 52.
Yeah, because it's Geoff Johns. Let's be honest. He wasn't going to toss out all the work he had done. Now he was basically running DC with Jim Lee. He wasn't going to toss away all of his work. Yeah. Which goes to show how important canon actually is. Yeah. And having them say that all this crap happened within 5 years, that means Hal Jordan has not had a night's sleep in the last 5 years. Like, he has not had a day off. He would be exhausted to the point of death. But that's a continuity episode that we'll get into.
True.
As far as Green Lantern issue 20, $8 cover price. A little steep. There's been more expensive single issues. Can't really think of any right now. Some anniversary issue, but for the page content, technically there's no ads in there.
Yeah.
I was kind of happy to see that. I'm like, okay, if I'm paying $8, I do not want to see an ad anywhere near this book. The only ads were the thanks, great job, Geoff Johns, and the other book issues, which, fine. There was one in the front for Superman, Man of Steel, but that's fine. So I'm kind of cool with that. I wish they did that across the board instead of dropping ads in it. It'd be kind of nice to see just cover and back cover. Go with that. Overall, really good issue. There's some amazing money shots, pictures and art in this book. Sinestro getting control of Parallax, which, as I mentioned on the blog, I want a figure of that as fast as possible. You want to talk about shitty schedules? DC Direct and their action figures. The new 52 has been around for what, 2 years now?
Yeah, something
just
like that.
It's over 2 years.
No. Sorry.
Yeah, just
2 years.
Going on 2 years. I think we're maybe at the 2-year point. DC Direct has put out, let's see, we've had the 7 Justice League members, Simon Baz, Green Arrow, a Parademon, and Darkseid. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 figures. That is as many new 52 figures as there has been. I have bought mini-mates at one time that have had more figures in a lineup than that.
Yes.
So I do not understand why this is happening. Before the new 52 reboot, there was figures coming out monthly.
You know what that is? Marketing. That's called marketing.
Creating
demand.
I don't think the figures are selling all that well.
I don't think so either. There's quite a few on the shelf there at the store.
Heroes has a lot of the figures, but they're not really flying through them. I mean, I bought them because I think they're really good figures, and they are. They're great figures. DC Direct is great at what they do. They're not super articulated like Hasbro's Marvel ones, but that's fine because it gives me something different than my Hasbro Marvel ones. Mm-hmm. But getting 11 figures out to the market in 2 years? You are owned by the company that makes the books. You have access to these.
Yeah.
If they can't say that they don't know what the figures are or what the character's going to look like, you have designs. Sure, they might change a little bit, but it's not going to go for, okay, we're gonna make Batman look like this. Oh shit! Now he has feather wings. Now the figure is useless.
Night Owl.
Yeah, but it's a variant. Fucking variants. So they should be able to turn out figures. Now they had some previews of some pretty cool new DC Direct figures. There's a Black Adam figure coming out, which looks so badass.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Looking at it, though, I'm like, okay, the clock is ticking. Where's my Shazam?
I don't want no Shazam figure. I want a Captain Marvel figure.
You can't say Captain Marvel because of reasons that lawyers talk about.
You can say Captain Marvel within the pages of the book. You just can't label the book Captain Marvel.
I think that disconnect is why DC just threw up their hands on whatever.
Because DC thinks their customers are idiots. And
DC is about a brand, and the best way to create a brand is consistency and unified appeal across all your brands. So if they were going to call him Captain Marvel in the books, but have the book titled Shazam, there's a disconnect there, and I can see that from a decision.
True.
I don't necessarily care for the name Shazam.
But you call it Action Comics, but it's actually starring Superman.
Yeah, it's Superman in Action Comics, I think, is how it's referred to now.
I don't know, is it?
Yeah. Superman's name is on the front of the book. People still call it Action Comics.
Detective Comics.
Starring with Batman. I know Batman's name is on the cover of Detective as well.
Is it?
Yeah. I think that was something new they did with the new 52.
I see.
But yeah, the release schedule for DC Direct figures atrocious. So I'm not really holding out hope for seeing a...
Get on the ball, DC!
Come on now.
Come on.
The desk pounding.
Yes. At least once per episode.
Yes. I'm not. Yeah, my hopes for a Sinestro Parallax figure within the next 2 years. Not exactly. Maybe New York Toy Fair next year. I might see one, or maybe New York Comic Con. They might show something off. That'd be kind of
variant
nice.
or something.
Yeah.
Or...
I mean, they've got the molding and the tooling for the Parallax Hal Jordan one. Toss a Sinestro head on, new sculpt, repaint. You're fine. People will buy it. Make it a con exclusive.
Why don't you work for DC Direct?
That would be fucking amazing. I would love that. Are they hiring? Are you hiring DC Direct? Marketing, sculpting? I can't sculpt, but I can ideas. I can ideas. I can
idea
come
man.
Up with ideas. Yeah, you hiring for an idea man at DC Direct? Because I'm not working right now, so that might kind of be something I could do.
Full of ideas.
Full of them.
Left, right, pouring out of his ears.
Sometimes
ideas.
Center. They're great. They're fantastic. So get on that, DC Direct. More figures on a better release schedule. Get your trade paperbacks out on a regular schedule, and get me my Sinestro Parallax figure within the next 18 months.
Yes.
Thank you.
Keep regular writers and artists on your books as well.
Yes,
no more fill-ins. This is ridiculous. Too many fill-ins.
And also stop canceling good books. Like Demon Knights has been amazing. We've totally spun off of Green Lantern. We're just...
Who cares? We're just going anywhere now.
The Demon Knights cancellation is the first book that has actually made me upset. I mean, I can't remember if any of the books I actually read were canceled, but the Demon Knights one really got me down.
Yeah.
Because that was a good book.
I think that's one of the reasons, too, I don't read DC, is too many fill-ins. No single creative voice, like Green Lantern, where it is, or Aquaman, one voice.
Yeah.
All-Star Western, one voice. That's what I like. That's what I want to read.
Yeah.
Not two
Not
issues
whatever the
here,
hell happened with
then
Green Arrow.
2 issues. Yeah,
And
Green
Superman.
Arrow, mess. Terrible mess.
Same as Superman for the
Terrible
first little while.
mess.
Yeah. First little while, he says.
Just can't.
Yeah. You, if they want to keep this brand going for them and be profitable, you need to leave people on books.
Yes.
Just don't.
I mean, I understand you want monthly consistency, getting your books out on time, but Marvel gets them out on time with singular creators, bi-weekly for most of them.
Yeah.
If they can do it, you can do it.
And I haven't seen a dip in the quality of the Marvel books when they've been... Like,
no,
pretty much every book now has an
fantastic.
Avengers tag on it, but they're all good. They look great. I mean, the writing staff on the Avengers books, I think they have better writers on anything that says Avengers in the Marvel Universe than most of DC has on all of their books.
Pretty much. Same with their X-Men titles.
It's all
Bendis. Great. Bendis, Spurrier, just great stuff. Like, you can't beat it, and DC can't.
Marvel has that bonus point in their column for... I know they're owned by a big business, but I don't really see...
There's less
Disney
corporate control.
I don't see Disney poking their heads inside Quesada's office. So, can we see some scripts? Get out.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I can see Didio having meetings and that with the WB brass, like, no, we have something different planned for coming out for this character. You need to change this, or this doesn't make sense to me. Well, great.
But it's hard to say if it's the WB or if it's just Bob Harris thinking in his 90s, antiquated editorial ways.
And, has to be this way. Has to be this way. No, that's not what people want to read.
No, nobody wants to read that stuff anymore. It worked fine in the 90s. This is not the 90s.
Yeah. They looked like they were going in the right direction. Their day-and-date digital process and program was great. Not a super fan of it. I like having books. I like going to my comic book store and getting my books and reading them and storing and collecting them. I'm never going to go complete digital. It's fine if I'm traveling somewhere. I just load books on my iPad and go instead of dragging omnibuses around with me wherever I go. It's a good way to do it that way, but yeah, it's not the 90s anymore. We can't be stuck in this rut where it's too much overhead control, and they've lost so many writers and artists because of that.
Yes, they sure have.
And all these writers and artists come out and say they have no idea what's going on. Whoever's steering the ship is running it in circles.
Yeah, there's too many people at the helm.
Yeah. I mean, George Perez, legend in the comic book industry, had no idea what was going on inside of the book, inside of Superman, when he first started writing the New 52, because they were basically handing Grant Morrison a blank canvas, and he wasn't telling anybody.
Exactly.
So Jordan Perez had no idea what to cue off of in his stories. And the first year of Superman books weren't really that good. I mean, they're not fantastic. I mean, they weren't fantastic before the New 52. But yeah, there's a lot of mess at DC, and I don't know if Geoff Johns and Jim Lee are gonna clear any of that up because they're all busy. And I would have thought maybe being writers and artists that climbed up and overcame whatever hurdles were in their way to become the writers and artists that they are today, they would kind of fight for up-and-comers to get their shots on books, leave them on books, build a reputation.
I don't know. I think DC is giving up-and-comers. They're getting a lot of image writers and artists a shot right
True.
now. But maybe that's also because there's no one else to go to now, so they're just getting anyone they can, basically, who wants to write a big-name book. Which is alright. Everyone likes a shot on a big-name book.
I am enjoying the apparent disappearance of exclusivity contracts. Remember, turn of the millennium, it was Marvel signs this guy to an exclusive.
There's still contracts, you just don't really hear about it anymore.
Yeah, they're not. You will see people jump the line and everything.
I know, like Valiant, the new Valiant has just signed a whole bunch of people to exclusive contracts, which is cool. And the Valiant titles are fantastic. They're by far better than anything DC is putting out at the moment.
I do not read anything by Valiant, and I feel I should.
You should. They are great.
And I wanna start reading some Saga as well. I do wanna.
Another fantastic book. Love that book. It's one of my favorites of all time.
Nobody in the world has a bad thing to say about that book, and I should start reading it.
Yeah, it is fantastic. That's the way Star Wars should have been.
You listening, JJ?
A little off topic, but that's how it should have been.
Overall, this Green Lantern issue. Solid buy. It's a solid title.
Yeah.
You're paying a bit of coin for it, but you're getting a lot of good material in there. The words be all nice and cool. The pictures be all nice and pretty, and it's a great way to go out. It's almost kind of opposite of a lot of Geoff Johns' other work, where it has a definitive ending.
Yes.
This is the end of it. There's things that other writers can take and go with, but this is it. This is the end of the Geoff Johns story that he has written. So it was nice to see that.
Yes.
The overall story might not have been his greatest work, but it was a great finale to his work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to finish off his 9S plus years, or whatever it is, on Green Lantern.
As a follow-up, we'll look at issue 21 to see what new direction these books are heading in, and if they can hold on to this reputation, or if it deserves a reputation anymore.
I think the creative team they've got on Green Lantern especially, the guy that's writing that book is also writing another book in DC that I get, and I can't think of it now. I can't even think of his name. Starts with a V.
Robert Venditti?
Yeah.
He's already off the book.
What?
Yes, so...
When did that happen?
Long time ago. Creator differences.
I thought the guy that was off of Green Lantern Corps, because of the creative differences over his presumed killing of John Stewart. He's like, no, I'm off the book. But I thought the main writer of Green Lantern was staying on there.
I think he's gone too.
That'll be upsetting, because the guy that's doing it now, I thought was moving from a book that I actually do get now, or staying on it and writing Green Lantern as well. Let's see, can I find Robert Venditti? This is riveting as well. We're actually
pretty sure
Googling this.
He left the book, according to Bleeding Cool, the best news and gossip site online, I must say.
I will not put up an argument with you on that one. They are a damn fine outfit they got there.
I must say there was a lot of flamers on Bleeding Cool in the forums, but yeah, he makes some spelling mistakes. Sometimes
Demon Knights. He likes Demon Knights. That was the other book he was doing.
Sometimes the rumors are false, but most of the time he's correct. And it's a damn good site, and I really enjoy it.
Spinning out of, what did he spin out of? Comic Book Resources, right? Spun his Lion the Garter's article off into Bleeding Cool.
Yes.
2 or 3 years ago.
Yes.
Robert Venditti taking over Green Lantern. Robert Venditti, Geoff Johns leaves. No, I don't see anything here about.
Well, we'll find out. I'm pretty sure I saw that on Bleeding Cool as well, but perhaps I'm wrong. But anyways, Green Lantern 21 review. A month from now or so, we'll let you know how it was.
I'm hoping they keep up the quality. We got a Bleeding Cool article. Van Jensen, Robert Venditti, and Charles Soule to write Joshua Falcoff's Green Lantern comics.
Oh.
That was dated March 20th.
Yeah.
Day after Bleeding Cool broke, Danny Diggle was walking off DC. They were the Green Lantern core books, I think. Yeah, because he was upset about the rumored or something planned about John Stewart, even though DC was like, no, I'm not going to kill John Stewart. Not going to happen. Like, okay. Was that a reactionary change to the spoil?
I think that's why he left the book. Was because of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not because they were necessarily going to kill him, but I think
the 8 million different ways they could have gone with it.
It was just editorial interference, and he couldn't take it. It's just for.
That's basically the reason why people get mad at DC. Editorial.
Yeah.
Like, anytime a writer or artist leaves a book, it's, well, what happened, editorial? Oh. And everyone shuts up because they know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm hoping the Green Lantern books kick in. I'm going to keep reading the Green Lantern books that I get now. I might try and read the other books. We'll see how it goes. But Green Lantern has been on my bag since Rebirth. So I'll keep getting that one. It's going to take a lot for me to cut that book. It's gonna basically have to be whoever writes this book. Hal Jordan just sits on the first 12 pages and gives me the finger for 12 pages. That'll get me to drop the book. But as long as he's still Hal Jordan, still doing Green Lantern stuff, I'll keep getting the book.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I like my DC New 52 stuff I get. And Ram Fact, best New 52 book. What do you think?
Sword of Sorcery, starring Amethyst.
All 7 issues.
8 issues.
Didn't mean to shortchange it. That was my bad.
8 issues.
Yeah. Honestly, my favorite.
No, it wasn't been the best. It hasn't been the best, but it was nice to see it come back from like 1984. The last time it was basically published, or 1986, whatever it was. It went from a fabulous series, penciled by Gene Colan and other fabulous artists and writers, to what it was now, which wasn't terrible, just didn't have an audience.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing.
It's kind of funny how Amethyst has guest starred in a quarter of equal issues to her own book.
Yes.
I think she was in 2 issues of J.L. Dark, and her series got 8 issues. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think the best New 52 book overall is probably Wonder Woman, or Batman. It's one of those 2. They've been fantastic books.
For me, it's Aquaman, which is the only book I buy.
Yeah.
So
The Flash also gets special mention because on a monthly basis, that book is just amazing to look at. Like I said, when the New 52 is firing on all cylinders, it can be fantastic. You just look, like you said, Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, Scott Snyder's Batman, fantastic. When it missteps and falters, you've got Stormwatch, you've got Hawkman, you've got Men of War, or whatever the hell happened. When it works, it works. When it doesn't badly.
Mm-hmm.
But let's hope Green Lantern sticks with the it works well or better category.
Indeed.
Well, that's all we have to say for our special Green Lantern issue 20 issue. I think we covered roughly half the podcast devoted to at least this issue.
That's true.
So we got it in there.
Lots more good stuff coming up next episode and every episode thereafter.
And every episode since. They're all gold. You should listen to all of them.
That's true.
All 910?
Something like that.
Something like that.
A lot of episodes.
Yeah, I can't even...
A lot of episodes. You just got to track them down, that's all.
Yeah. They're
so
kind of hard to find. People really don't share them all that well because they want to keep them to themselves.
It's true.
Once you get it, you know. You just know.
So for now, it's Garry and Geoff. See you later.